Today's assignment, we're going to be creating a skin tone set that we can apply to different facial features, and one of the things we're going to be doing is an eye, and this is a variety of 4 skin tones. You can spread the range out a little bit further, but today we're just going to focus on 4 of them. There could be all different values of these different skin tones, from even darker brown to lighter brown for each one of these sets. Or you could look at them as shadows, midtones, and highlights of one skin tone. So make sure you draw 4 little boxes. These are very tiny compared to the size of my finger. And we're going to create our formula of using the dark brown, the sienna brown, and the orange for this very first skin tone. So I'm going to put a nice layer of the dark brown down, and you don't want to be too heavy-handed with this. And we can hatch in 2 different directions to smooth it out. Okay, after you have a nice layer of the dark brown down, then I want you to select your sienna brown, and you can do a coat going in a different direction or in the same direction. You can kind of cross-hatch them to blend them a little bit deeper, but we are creating skin tone blends. We want them to look natural. So I could leave this one the way that it is, just a nice blended brown, or I could put just a little bit. If I put a little bit of orange in here to blend it a little bit, I could go back with a little bit of dark brown and smooth it out. This just adds a little bit of warmth. And I could just kind of smooth it out with the dark brown. You just have to practice and experiment to get the results that you desire. So let's write down our formula. PC 946, PC 945, and PC 918. Okay, so there's our first skin tone. I will post in the lesson a photo of this so you can see how it looks off of the video camera. Let's do our second lightest skin tone. So fill your box with the sienna brown first as a base coat. You want a good layer of this. I went in a couple different directions, but I kept my coats nice and even. I'm going to add a coat of the orange. And a coat of the dark brown. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down our formula. We just have to know that the amounts of these colors were just slightly different from the first application. We had more sienna brown and more orange in this one, and just a tiny, tiny bit of this dark umber on top. You can take your white if you want to try it and see what will happen if you add a little bit of white to it, but you don't want to push very hard at all. You can just kind of use it to blend. But I would not add very much of white. Okay, so for our next lightest skin tone, we could begin with a layer of the orange very delicately. Sometimes you can even add in a little bit of red and yellow. To be very careful with the yellow, it can be very dominant. It's a very soft, thin layer of orange. And then a very soft, thin layer of yellow, which is barely touching the paper. Got a little corner missing here. Okay, so now I'm going to use my sienna brown, the 945 brown. hatch over it in a different direction to kind of smooth it out. Okay, so get your white pencil, make sure that it's sharpened, and just very delicately, without pressing very hard, we're just going to kind of hatch over those last couple coats. Okay, and let's do one more skin tone, going a little bit lighter. We will do a very thin coat of orange again. Just the thinnest coat of orange you can apply. If we go too heavy, we'll have to erase it and back it up. Depending on what kind of fair skin you're familiar with, you could add a tiny bit of pink, just depends. Now, since this is a fair area or a highlight, you don't want to press very hard. I'm going to apply a smooth coat. I'm using the sienna brown over the orange. You could add a little bit of yellow to that, so we have a coat of orange, a really thin coat of sienna brown, and just a very subtle coat of the yellow. It's almost hard to see where you've applied the yellow because it's so fair. So I'm going to go ahead and back up over here. Orange. Yellow. A bit of sienna brown. And the white. So PC 918, the yellow is PC 916, PC 945. And then the white is PC 938. So here we did a thin coat of orange, thin coat of sienna brown and yellow, and then a thin coat of white, which we can apply now. Again, I'm not pressing very hard with the white, just kind of smoothing over the top with it. Our range of skin tone values is complete. Okay, so there's our formulas for our skin tones, and next we'll apply those to a facial feature. Please put your name on that and load it to Schoology. That is it. Thank you.